Hi, friends. Okay, so I wanted to talk about my mother's manifesting and what I've learned from that growing up with that kind of environment. So, yesterday, I spoke about my mom manifesting the lottery, like a big lottery win. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. This is not going to be a very long video, but please subscribe to my channel and like my videos so that I can get into the algorithm and hopefully at some point be able to monetize this channel so that I could maybe make a little bit of extra money on the side and be able to stay home with my teenage kids so I can keep an eye on them, because as you all know, when you have teenagers, you really have to be on top of them. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this, so that I can be home a little bit more with my kids and be more vigilant on top of them. So let's get to it. All right. So my mom manifested the lottery. So how did she do that? Well, my mom was very, very, very powerful mentally. My mom comes from a long line of men and women who were incredibly gifted in the clairvoyance and manifesting sense. So my mom had an uncle who was a clairvoyant, and her mother was also clairvoyant, very, very, very bright, very sensitive, very intuitive. And my mom is the same way, and then she passed that down to me. So my mom just started to tell people, I'm going to win the lottery. She didn't say, oh, I might win the lottery. She just said it, I'm going to win. And within months, she had won the lottery. So I think that's amazing. And it taught me that things are possible. I really believe that things are possible. It's not just an accident like, oh, no, I don't. And that's okay. You may believe that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. Or someone else may believe that it's, statistically impossible and it was a fluke, and that's fine. But I'm going to choose to believe that it was something she manifested, because that's just how I was brought up. I was brought up with that your mind is a very powerful tool, and you can use it for good, or you can also use it for bad. So what do I mean by that? So my mom, she was incredibly powerful, but it also backfired, because my mom had a very difficult childhood and on a personal level. And she was married to my father for 57 years before he passed away, but they had a very difficult marriage, very difficult. And she carried a lot of childhood trauma onto her adult life, and it was something that she never worked on. She never fixed. She never tried to make herself better in that sense. So just as my mom was able to manifest these great things in her life, she also manifested great sickness. My mom was always sick, physically sick constantly, extreme levels of anxiety, very bitter. It's very interesting, because she was so positive when it came to money, but she was so negative for so many other things. So I learned from her that, so my father and her were married for a long time, but my father had a lot of affairs. Oof. I mean, my dad, at least 5 affairs while they were married. And she would forgive him, but she would stay with him. Or, I'm sorry, she didn't forgive him. She would stay with him because she was brought up a devout Catholic. So she didn't believe in divorce, but then she didn't forgive him. So if you are going to stay with someone who has done something that hurt you, you need to be able to really let that go. You have to forgive and you have to forget. You have to just move on from it. Because what ended up happening to my mom is she held on to that anger, and oh boy, did she hang on to that. I mean, she reminded my father every moment that she could of what he had done. So like if he was out with her and he happened to look in the direction where there was a woman that she thought was pretty, forget it. I mean, she would bring it up immediately, and she would bring it up in front of us kids, and it was very messy. I mean, it was messy. So I think when you hold on to bitterness and anger, you're going to make yourself sick. So my mom ended up making herself so sick because she had anger and bitterness and hatred towards just, whatever had happened in her life, and she didn't let it go. And if you don't let go of things, they're going to eat you up inside. So that's pretty much what happened to her. I mean, she would go to the doctor or she would go to the hospital because she wasn't feeling well and she thought like something crazy was happening to her. And she would get to the hospital and they would do all these tests and they would say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Like all your tests came back completely normal. So, that just teaches you when your mind is powerful, you have to be very careful because you could do great things, but it can also go the other way. So if you're not careful, you can make yourself sick. You can make negative things come into your life. So when it comes to manifesting, the key to manifesting, it's really very simple. You have to assert that this is going to be. You have to say it is, like you want to manifest your husband. I manifested my husband. We've been together 18 years. So you have to write things down. So I think when you write down what you want, you are asserting to the universe, to God, whatever, that thing is. So let's say that you are single and you want to manifest a person in your life. You want to manifest the love of your life. Watch a movie and find a character that is in love in the way that you want to be in love. Like really you need to find an example of that love that you want to have. Find that example, hold on to that feeling, and write down every detail of what you want. But you have to be detailed, because if you're not detailed, the universe is going to decide for you. So everything, the feelings, how you want to feel, how you want that person to support you, whatever, just write everything down, read it out loud, read it in your mind, and do that every night before you go to bed. And really, you have to be a little delusional. You have to believe that that's coming, but then you have to let it go. So what do I mean by letting it go? You have to write it down, read it, say it out loud, and then close it, go to bed, go on about your day the next day. You have to trust that what you are requesting is coming to you. You just have to wait for it to happen. But you have to be proactive. So for example, when I was dating, when I was single, I was out there, I was dating, and I had fun with it. I dated someone, and if it was a terrible date, I would just be like, oh gosh, and I would laugh about it the next day with friends, and like it just wasn't serious. Like I wasn't desperate. I wasn't obsessed with like, where is he? Like, what's happening? No, it was just like, oh, this is fun. Like, I'm just going to do this until I find someone that I like. And it happened. So you have to treat everything that you want to manifest in that way. You write it down, you repeat it, do it every night, get a journal and write it down, and then read that every night, read it over, and really get that feeling of what it would be like, or if it's a mansion you want, or if it's the money you want. Find an app that you can edit a picture of your bank account and change the numbers, whatever is going to give you that feeling. Or let's say that there's a particular style of house that you want. Go to the open houses on the weekends for the houses that you can't afford yet, and go visit the houses and really get the feeling of being in that house. Like, what is this house going to feel like when I move into it? And it is a little delusional but I think you have to be a little delusional at the beginning. And don't tell anyone. You don't have to share with anyone else what you're doing. Just keep these things to yourself, because I think a lot of people, if they're not ready for that, they're going to look at you like you're crazy, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. Just trust the process and keep feeling those feelings, and really do things that are going to put you into that mindset. Don't just, you can't say, oh, I want the love of my life, but then every time you see a guy, you're like, oh, men are such jerks. Or you can't speak badly about men, or you can't give off, the energy of, all men are cheaters or all men are terrible, because you're going to get men that are cheaters and men that are terrible. The universe, God, whatever, is going to give you back all the things that you are saying that are, because you're reaffirming your beliefs. So the universe is going to reaffirm those beliefs right back to you. So you have to watch your thoughts. Your thoughts are so important. Your inner dialogue. Just whenever you, wear a tight rubber band, and whenever you catch yourself with a bad thought, snap the rubber band so that you can snap out of it. Try that. Whatever, you have to redirect your mind. So I hope a little bit of this has worked and helped someone who's watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. So please like this video and subscribe. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.